Good morning. I'm stuck in a rut. I'm struggling to fit anything in, even though I know that I need to. That was a conversation I had with someone yesterday who is looking at doing something like Fruci Fit, but is just wondering if they're going to get, quote unquote, the most out of it, whether it's the right time to start. And my advice would be, what if it was actually the best time to start? Because when others need you, when you've got a lot on, when there's a lot of stress going on, guess what? It's a nice reminder that people need you, and actually you need to focus on yourself as well. And I know that sounds really cliche, but if there's no you, who do they go to? What happens 5 years from now if nothing changes, if you don't get a handle on this at the moment? And when we put things into perspective like this, it was like, yeah, you know what? Even if I do something, and we forget this, like 1 day is better than 0 days. Maintaining your weight rather than putting on half a stone in a stressful time is progress. And it always comes back to this question: what would you normally do? What's the alternative? That's how you're going to get the correct answer, and I think a very validated answer. Like, what's the alternative? If you do nothing, if you don't do anything, what happens then? Where are you at 3 months ago? How hard is it to start in 3 months if you do nothing? Yeah. Don't underestimate that. Like, muscle is essentially use it or lose it. We know from, we did our menopause mastery program, which if you want access to, comment below of menopause, by the way. And we talked about muscle loss. We talked about bone density. We also talked about the research in terms of the use it or lose it. The same processes, systems in the body are acting. They might just need slightly different inputs, a bit more focus on resistance exercise, perhaps more focus on the protein intake, perhaps during the transition of perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, we need to keep an eye on our physical activity, which seems to, according to research, drop during this time. And could that impact how we feel, our energy levels? And of course, then you go to the symptoms, etc. But when we look at this, it's like, what if we do have 1 or 2 days where we focus on something? Is that pointless when you consider over a year? If I was to tell you, right, you're going to get 104 sessions in over the year, is that pointless? And I think we need to be talking about 104 out of 365 a little bit more, because that doing 1 or 2 days, it's not going to be worth it. But let's say you do 2 days a week, that's 104 times in a year. That's quite significant still. That's quite significant. 104 times that you've done something for you, that you've stimulated muscle growth. You're telling me that's going to have no effect? I would say otherwise. That will have an impact. Like, if you were to clone yourself and one person does 104 days of exercise, or whether that's planning their meals for the week, whether that's getting some protein in each meal, lots of water, being aware, meditation, self-care, versus someone who does none, would there be a difference? I'd ask that question. Let me know. Morning, Cheryl. I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know. As always, speaking of which, we have our Live Well, our Kickstart program for women 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s. We're going to get in shape, get fit, starting this week and next week. Flexible start date. Just off onto our morning sessions now. And I'll see you later.